Criminality has skins. Whether it's worth $1 or over $2,000, people will still want them. So today I'm doing a trade up challenge and trying to get the new Reaper skin from the Halloween case because, well, we're a little poor on skins. Today's video gets right into it. My upload schedule is messed up because I've been working on this video. So if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing since it motivates me to make more content. With that said, let's get started with the challenge. The first skin I'm going to use is this common named Draco on the 8K. But now you may be wondering, Namuru, how are you going to make profit on every trade if you don't know the value of each skin? There's hundreds. Well, Criminality has a skin value list to help players trade skins. You can find this value list in the Criminality trading Discord server, but I'm not going to be using this one since it is inaccurate and heavily outdated. Instead, I'm going to be using an accurate list that is called Crimenomics. Without this list, this video wouldn't have been possible because I don't know the value of any skins. I will put their Discord invite in the description if you want to use their list as well. Now, according to this list, Draco has a value of just above 1 point, and Reaper has a value of 2,000, so I already know this challenge is going to be pain and suffering. Little side note, any trades where I gain or lose nothing will be displayed temporarily in the top left corner because it's pointless to put it in the video. I didn't know where to start, so I began joining casual servers and mass sending trades, which led to no luck, so then I asked people if they traded. Now, our skin comparison here was all those good skins he has against my single Draco, so I was just hoping that he would have something good for me to offer for, which he luckily had a monochrome that had 3 points, so if I could get that monochrome, it would be a W for me, and maybe I could upgrade into a low rare. So he ended up taking my offer and I got my hands on a monochrome. Before this next trade, I decided to delete most of my skins so they don't confuse me. So I put up my monochrome and surprisingly he put up a rare off the bat. I was expecting a common or two, but hey, I'll take a rare any day for this. I got scared at this point because he asked for a Solar Beretta, which I broke the news to him saying that this was my only skin. And I think after a while of convincing him to do this trade, he ended up taking it. So in only 2 trades we ended up getting a rare, which we could probably flip into a better one, or we could downgrade again into more commons and repeat this process to get more rares. Yeah, this skin is so ugly. So I'm actually figuring it out. I was doing this trade up challenge. I guess I should have went incognito because look at my bio. At the start of this trade, I tried to get a honeycomb or a stainless, but he denied and said this was the best I could get. So I took it anyways because I personally think Jaws looks better and it's +1 value. The following trade, I met this guy who had a few rares I could pick from. And I of course went for Tiles because it had a value of 7, which was the most he had in total. And also because Tiles was a good gun skin, I would say too. Now for this next trade, they had Supernatural, Mac and Cheese, and KT Stallion. I didn't think I could get the Kill Track Stallion, and the Mac and Cheese was too low. So I went for the Supernatural because it was +3 profit. And we were going to accept, but they canceled and put on all these extra items, which if I had to guess, it was because Tiles was my only skin and they felt bad. So I really appreciate them adding all of these skins, and after completing this trade I ended up getting up to a 45 value. For this trade he was giving me KT grid lines for my KT Stallion, which was +20 profit. He did tell me to add a comment, so I didn't have a problem doing so because I knew I would still profit no matter what comment I put. We completed the trade and I made an easy 18-ish points. This next trade, this guy showed me all his skins and he even had an epic, but I didn't like it. He asked for my Supernatural and I told him I would give him it for 2 tones, Stainless, and Checkmate, but he thought that was too much, which I can see why. So then I asked him if he had any kill tracks and he had one on Battle Worn Camo. And I tried to convince him to put in Stainless as well, but he liked it. And then he offered to put in grid lines, which didn't make sense because it was 2 points more, but I took it anyways. After that trade, I offered my Battle Worn Camo KT and my Mac and Cheese for his KT Yellowstone, which he said was okay. This was an easy 26 points profit, I would say. Next trade was my KT Silver Bandit and my bats for Spitfire, which was a huge W because Spitfire is a good rare and because it was an upgrade on my part. Next trade, this guy wanted my grid lines for his Iron Hammer. He knew this was an L on his part, but he still took it because he was feeling generous. And I walked out with the nice looking Magnum skin. For this next trade, I found the guy on Discord and he was willing to give me my first epic, Dark Matter, for my KT Yellowstone, grid lines, and Iron Hammer, which I took instantly because I was profiting. And it was an upgrade, which was nice. The fact that I already got an epic within the first day is pretty surprising, I'm not gonna lie. The following trade was my Spitfire for their Honeycomb and Umbrella, which gave me some profit and a bigger variety of skins to trade. Unedited, this trade took about 10 minutes because we were both so undecisive, but at the end I gave my pumpkin spice and nevermore for their jaws, which was a good upgrade. This trade consisted of my umbrella for their mil-spec, which gave me an increase in value and demand. This next person I was trading had a pulse, which was an epic quality type of skin, which I really like. But back on track, I gave my honeycomb for their purple heart and maritime, which lowered my demand, but it gave me a few points of value, so I took it. For this trade, I was giving my jaw skin for his viper and tiger beretta. 2 skins for 1, I'll take it any day. Right after I got viper, I gave it away for tiles, increasing both demand and value. This trade was Beretta for Clef, Star, and Thorn Slash. Thorn Slash is from Valentine's, so it's actually a pretty good skin to have if I'm trying to upgrade it. Next trade was small, just my purple heart for Tiger Beretta. A 2-point increase in value and some demand. My honeycomb for stainless and vibe check. Fun fact about vibe check is the skin never shows up because it's glitched. This was an easy gain of value, and plus 2 skins for 1. I'll take it. After this money spread, this guy put up a KT Tiger, which I was interested in, so I offered Tiger, Maritime, and Thorn Slash, which he accepted. So that was a nice trade up for a KT. For this next trade, he put up Jaws, so I offered vibe check, but I wanted more, so I told him to show me his comments, and I like brown, so I told him to add it, and we ended up trading. The following trade, I put Jaws up for his Magnum Abstract, but I told him to add because it was an equal flip. I tried to get Laminate, but he declined, and he preferred putting Mil-Spec, which was better than Laminate, so I took it anyways. It got me a nice Magnum skin again. Alright, for this next trade, I offered for his gingerbread because I really liked it and it was from last winter. He declined though, and instead he put up all these extra skins he had, and he gave it away to me because I didn't have many skins, so appreciate him for that. After this trade, I had a total of 209 value points. The guy in the next trade had Patriot and Meyer, which was cool. After showing skins that were more to my budget, I was interested in Bloodshot because it looked good, and it was my first FNP skin, so I decided to do the trade. After this quick money spread of all his riches, he didn't like any of my skins, so he decided to give me a bunch of grapes, which I took because it was free profit. I had no idea what I was going to do with all the grapes, but might as well. For this next trade, he had a KT vibe check, which I was interested in, so I offered Bloodshot, Yellowstone, and Vampire Hunter, but he wasn't interested because I was under, so he then settled on 2 mil-specs, Lovely Camo, and Bloodshot for it, which I took. This next guy had a ton of rares, but I was mainly interested in Redwood and Stars, so I tried to get an upgrade, so I put a few comments, and luckily he took it, so I got me a nice KT and a normal rare. Following trade, he had KT Gray Lens, which I very much wanted because it was worth 45, and it could easily give me an epic if I added other KTs. So I showed him the skins I had, and he was interested in my KT Desert Kleagle, so I put that up, and I made an easy 20 points profit. The trade after, he had KT Checkmate and Jaws, which I wanted, so I offered Abstract and Star 9, but he wasn't buying, so I replaced Abstract for KT Redwood. He still didn't want it, and somehow he preferred 7 grapes and Abstract for them, so I took it, and I finally got rid of all those grapes I didn't want. And at this point, I had so many KT rares to where I needed to upgrade into another epic, but I couldn't find anyone for a while. This guy had Tropical and KT Majesty, but Tropical was way too low and KT Majesty was way too high, so didn't work out. But he did have rares as well, and I offered for his KT Supernatural and Grid Lines, but I still wasn't satisfied, so I asked him to put in Honeycomb, and we ended up doing this trade. The trade right after, he put up a Majesty, so I offered my KT Supernatural and KT Grid Lines, but he asked for one more KT, so I put up my KT Redwood. Though I was 5 over value-wise, I told him to put any rare. He put Redwood, and I upgraded into this epic. And if you ignore me being hit by a golf club, you can see that I have a total of 301 value. I met this guy right after I had Ithaca Blaze worth 75 points, so I put my offer up. He didn't like it though, so he told me to change it, and we eventually settled on this. So I have a total inventory value of 295, excluding all my rares. After that trade, I felt confident posting ads in the Criminality trading Discord server, and I decided to call it quits for the night and played some infection with my new skins. For my first trade the next day, we showed each other all our skins, and they had Oxhead, which I was interested in. So I offered Ithaca Blaze and Dark Matter, but then I asked them if they would prefer this, and they said yes, and we ended up trading. So them calling it a scam, it was just simple profiting, and only by 15 points. In this trade, he had KT Grape, which I put star for. This trade got me 2 points, but it was a downgrade, though I did feel like I could easily upgrade the KT Grape into a good rare. The trade after, I asked him to show me all his KT rares, and I liked the KT Vibe Check. Though this wasn't L on his part, I'm pretty sure he only took it because Vibe Check was a broken skin and he couldn't even see it. I met this guy who told me to send him a trade even though he wasn't verified, so I threw him out the window. Next trade was quick. My grid lines for their Star and Stallion. I gave a good rare for 2 smaller rares. I'll take it. This next guy wanted my KT Vibe Check for their KT Spitfire, which was plus 20 profit. So I took it. I asked him if he wanted to trade rares for rares, but he denied and was only interested in my KT Vibe Check. The following trade, he had X-Ray, which I was interested in because it was from the Halloween case, so I showed him the skins I had, and I limited him to only 1 so I don't overpay. He chose Stallion, and we ended up doing a quick trade. After that, this guy showed me all his high value skins, so I offered Oxhead for Plasma and CRIMCORP to make a quick profit, but he declined, and instead he put up more of my budget type skins. I liked Mil-Spec, so I put up X-Ray, but I wanted him to add because I was overpaying since it was Halloween, and he put Battleborn Camo, which I took. After that, the next guy had Tiles, which I was interested in, so I gave him Star for it. A simple 3 points upgrade. For this next trade, they had Reserve and Yellowstone, which I showed them all the skins I had, and I eventually offered my Tiles and Tan for it, which was a deal on my part, like they said, because I was getting 2 rares for 1 rare and a common. The next trade, we showed all our skins, and I was interested in their Honeycomb, Bloodshot, and Iron Hammer, so I offered these 3 rares, but he wanted to keep the Iron Hammer, so I removed one of my skins, and we ended up doing this 2 for 2 trade, which I profited in. Right after, I met this guy who had Supernatural and Honeycomb, which I offered Bloodshot and grid lines for, but he wanted me to swap Bloodshot for Tiles, so I did so, and we ended up doing this trade. They gave me plus 3 profit. Then I found this guy at Eagle's Pride, which I offered Honeycomb for, and without hesitation I completed this trade because Eagle's Pride is worth more than double Honeycomb. The following trade, I met this guy who was interested in my Supernatural, so we offered Stainless, Extra, and CRIMCORP, but CRIMCORP alone was worth 3 times Supernatural, so I told him that he was overpaying. He took out Extra and we settled on this trade. Then this next guy had all these skins that he was going to offer for my CRIMCORP and Eagle's Pride, which I took because I would have a huge variety of skins to trade up from. This next trade was a huge W on my part. I got Pulse, Axon, and Eliminate for just 4 rares, which Pulse alone is probably still worth more than all of those. From here on out, I'm only going to show expensive trades because it's pointless to put all the small ones in at this point. Afterwards, I offered my Yellowstone grid lines and Eliminate for KT Grid, but they already had Yellowstone, so I replaced it for Viper, and they took this deal. Following trade, I offered for Cotton Cloud and grid lines, and we were going to accept, but they already had Yellowstone, so I subbed it out for Axon, and they took the trade. Then I traded for this guy's Circuit, and it was an underpay on my part, and for an upgrade, this was a major W. This trade was also quick. My Pulse for their KT Spitfire and KT Benjamin, which is easy profit for me. Next, I had a Shark Bite, which was a decent epic, so I offered my Dark Matter, Circuit, and KT Cotton Cloud. He didn't want my Dark Matter though, and after further convincing him, I put Yellowstone Boss and Stainless, and he took my offer. W upgrade, honestly. You already know I had to take this to infection mode. Following trade, he had KT Tiger, which he didn't want Yellowstone, Bloodshot, and KT Modest for, so I removed Bloodshot and put my grid lines, and he accepted this. My KT Common and Rare for a KT Rare. Good upgrade. Next person wanted my KT Cotton Cloud, so I asked him to show me all his skins, and we eventually settled on him giving me all these skins for just that 1 KT Rare. Huge W on my part, boys. After this guy wanted my KT Tiger. He wanted to keep his Spitfire though, so I told him if I could remove my Cotton Cloud, and he said sure. He removed his Spitfire, and we ended up doing this trade. Next trade, I really wanted his KT Yellowstone, so I offered Burial, Lilac, and Bloodshot. He didn't like the KT Lilac, so I replaced it for my Spitfire, and he took this offer. This guy had Presidential, and I'm just gonna let him narrate.
I'll low-key. I don't even care. Ember has like mid-demand, but I low-key need a good AK skin. Strike Bite is like heat. I don't mind this.
And with that trade, episode 1 comes to an end. So yeah, I did get his Presidential and it looks very good. My total inventory value at this point is 694 points, with the Presidential being 500 alone. I guess that's it for now. Let me know what you thought of this video, and hey, if this video does well, I'll try to upload episode 2 soon. See you in my next video.